Welcome to meandmydocs.com from Handoff Solutions. This is a video tutorial for physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, anyone who will be looking at these studies and then importing them to their radiology information system. So first we'll log in on the top right hand corner here, and then during this video I'll show you very briefly how our scheduler would send an invitation to a patient, what that patient invitation will look like, how the patient would upload their imaging studies from a CD-ROM, and then we'll skip to the part where you will look at these imaging studies, evaluate them, and send them to the radiology information system at your institution. So a scheduler would typically send an invitation by logging in. And once you log in, you can then invite a patient. So you click on the top left-hand box that says Patient Invite, and then you simply need to determine whether you're going to invite the patient or what we call a delegate for the patient, someone who will upload the imaging study on behalf of the patient, in which case you'll click on the second link. Each of these will take you to a slightly different invitation page, which I'll show you next. So if you were to choose a patient invite, you would have a screen that would allow you to choose the care team that's taking care of that patient. And then you'd simply need to ask the patient a little bit of information, really what's their email address. And then if you're registering the patient, you already have their registration number, first name, last name, and date of birth. And then you would hit the send invite. For your benefit, at the bottom of the screen there's a sample patient invitation script that you can read until you get used to it. Now, if you wanted somebody to serve as a delegate to upload a CD-ROM for a patient, then when you would choose the delegate patient invite. And here you can either choose the referring physician or another type of person to delegate the work to, a family member or perhaps a caregiver in a doctor's office. Here I've chosen a referring physician as the delegate that will send up the patient's imaging studies. And you'll see at the top part of the screen you need to put the institution or the practice where the physician is, the national provider index number, which is optional, but we'd like it if possible, the delegate's email, and the delegate's first name and last name, and then the same information about the patient. If it's not a physician, you'll see that the page looks similarly, but there is no practice name or national provider index number because it's probably a family member or maybe a nurse or physician assistant. And at this point, you would just hit the send invite, and the patient will get an invitation by email, which I'll show you next. This is an email invitation that the patient would see. It's a simple invitation with a link that they would click to get to meandmydocs.com and start uploading their imaging studies. The patients log on to meandmydocs.com. They go to the Uploader tab here on the top left, you can see, and the product installs a short, very small application to recognize the CD-ROM and help them upload their studies. It takes just a few minutes. Now you'll log on to meandmydocs.com as a provider to look at the studies that they've uploaded. You'll actually get an email notifying you, as will your other staff, that there's a study to be uploaded. Now a physician or a care team provider would want to log in to look at imaging studies. They'll get an email saying their studies to look at. They would log into their inbox and they would see a number of incoming studies here. The care team provider, the care team, the patient's name, who uploaded it, probably the patient, but there could be a delegate that uploaded it, when it was uploaded, and now the action to view. So we'll click on a study to view and see that the study loads very quickly. You can see that this one only has one study that was uploaded by the patient, the sample patient. We would click on the study and you can easily see you can scroll now from image to image much faster than you can with a CD, and then you can do some basic manipulation of the imaging studies. For instance, you can magnify it significantly, zoom in, And then with the hand, you can move the imaging study around to look at different areas. I'll go back to regular size. You can change the contrast on CT scans in particular, the windowing and contrast and brightness. With that tool, you can change the default windowing using this tool, or go to bone windows. And then you can rotate and flip the images. In this case, you can see the right is on the wrong side, so we would flip that to make them in standard position. The most important thing is you can now send this imaging study to the radiology information system, so it's viewable in your electronic health record by clicking the import button. Simply the name of the patient, the date of birth, registration number has been filled in already. Most radiology clerks would like you to put the visit number if you can find that, please. And then you want it archived, check that box, and if you'd like it interpreted by a radiologist, check the second box and enter the clinical question for the radiologist below. So I'll say 3 months headache, rule out sinusitis, and send that along. This is one more confirmation about what you're going to do. You're going to archive this film and have it formally reviewed. And then the last screen says, do you need it stat? So I don't need a formal stat reading or the formal reading stat, and 72-hour turnaround time would be fine. So I'm leave these as they are. I would hit OK to move this along, but I'm going to cancel it for now. That's it for the viewer and the option to move it forward to radiology. So that's how to use the Me and My Docs application. All this material is available online at our corporate website, handoffsolutions.com. And there are 2 training videos. They're very similar. One goes into a little bit more detail as an overview of what the radiology clerk does as well, if you're interested in that. Thank you for watching the video. We have a telephone number and an email address for support should you need it. We hope you enjoy the experience working with the application.